love sweet God magnet. Love turns into time, don't you grab it. This video is brought to you by T-Blocks. Enjoy the content now, but stay for the shilling later. Welcome to Lobster Magnet Friends. I'm here with my buddy Goro.
What's up?
And we are here to talk about Mujirishi, Chapter 3. We promised we'd continue to follow this one, and, you know, as much as we are shonen fuckboy fight bros, we love teenagers with superpowers, you know, it is always nice to delve into a more intellectual manga. And even though I guess you could say this is quickly evolving into more of a pulpy heist kind of thing, it's still, you know, probably smarter than your average, you know, pulp heist manga. Because it's by, I'm not even going to pronounce his name, but super smart manga guy who's got, like, the Pulitzer Prize of manga. So, what do you think of Chapter 3?
It was, it's gaining my interest more and more.
It definitely seems like we're getting a little bit more of a story here, that we're starting to get, like, a little bit of a sense that, like, you know, what this manga is about. And it seems that, like, you know, we are in, like, an Ocean's 11 style caper heist thing with the unreliable director, as we learn that, like, the police are after him, and that he's the leader of this, like, French art-stealing crime ring.
But it's also known that, I mean, from our perspective right now, it seems like he's constantly lying about tons of things.
Yeah.
And the little girl keeps on picking up on it.
Yeah, she keeps on calling him out for his, you know, bullshit, while the dad's, like, so desperate. It's like, let him continue. And I was looking at comments where people were talking about it, and they're saying that, like, the way you could tell that he's a pro con artist is that he keeps on giving them the opportunity to leave.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that way they have, like, the illusion of choice as he, like, wraps them deeper and deeper into his web of deceit and art theft.
Yeah.
Because it was a pretty...
That's so funny when you put it that way.
That's how you know he's, like, a con man. That's how you know that, like, he's like, working at a high level, because he gives them the option to get out. And so they think that's their choice, that as he strings them along for whatever he's going to string them along with, we get the impression that, you know, he's in control, except for the little girl who knows better.
Yeah, but even the little girl is still interested in hearing out the story, even though she's still pointing out all those lies, right?
Yeah, especially the lie where it's like, you know, how he, like, sneaks into the Louvre. Oh, I'm just going behind the scenes, and I'm just going in behind, and I'm following the security guard, and I'm just taking it, even though I'm the guy who told them to build the pyramid, and I'm the director, and I'm the friend of the president of France.
It's funny, though, like... Yeah, we can't really know for certain, like, what is 100% true, what is 100% false. It might be a mixture of both at this point.
Yeah, he's definitely an unreliable narrator, and, you know, we don't really know what to believe. Although that scene with him, like, pretending to do the squeak was pretty funny. And then it's like an intense... Yeah, and then there's an intense close-up of the guard.
Yeah. And then the little girl's like, I thought you said no mouse would be able to get into the Louvre.
Yeah.
And he gives her this face like...
Really? Really? You really? Really? Yeah, pretty much. So the mystery is deepening. And what was the picture that he stole? You knew it as an art connoisseur.
Oh, it's a Vermeer. It's, I don't know if I'm... call me an art connoisseur, but I know of Vermeer. He's a famous
art
painter.
History. You've been forced to take art history classes. I'd figure that all of your painting classes, that, like, all this name drop art stuff would probably, like, you know, be tickling your fancy.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, the Vermeer painting, it looks like a cool painting actually, and it's kind of a sweet moment where, you know, you see him, like, in front of just that tiny little painting. You know, he says he visits it every day, and he tells a story of, like, how Vermeer, you know, this painting apparently wasn't considered his best work. You know, it was 5 years before he died, and it was after the war, and he was becoming ill.
Yeah, I did. I
And
did love the little historical context, and when he was so moved, he was moved to tears by it.
yeah, that's pretty cool actually. It makes me want to go see that painting in person. There's actually a lot of really nice looking detail in it.
Well, if anything, since this is a collaboration for the Louvre. This is like, secretly Japanese propaganda to get Japanese people interested in going, and weebs like us who steal Japanese content or from other people to go to the Louvre and go see Paris. And I have to say, this is like very effective propaganda.
Yeah, like this mangaka, he really flexes his like history muscles a lot of the time. I feel like he seems like a really big history buff.
I think he's like a very cultured guy. He's a very
Yeah.
smart guy who's able to draw a lot of influences and go into a lot of like deep realms. And he, tells adult, emotionally complex, mature storylines, which is why
Mhm.
he's like the treasure of Japan. But he also like is good at like doing pulpy thrillers. Like one thing I definitely think you should read. I've read like more than half of it, but it's really good. Is
Mhm.
a couple years ago, he was commissioned to do like this for this anniversary of like Astro Boy to do this
Mhm.
manga called Pluto, and he basically does like this mature version of like this very famous Astro Boy story, which is like the most immature storyline possible. But he turns it into this like really moving piece of work, and I'd highly recommend you check it out.
Okay, well,
Because
you gotta link
basically,
it to me.
I'll link it to you. Basically, the storyline is called Pluto, and it's based on the storyline of the world's strongest robot. And the whole idea is that there's this evil robot named Pluto who's killing all the world's strongest robots, and that's the basis of the original Astro Boy storyline.
That's the basis of the Astro Boy storyline.
Yeah, and he takes that storyline and turns it into this emotionally rich, complex, nuanced murder mystery, it's kind of sad and poignant and beautiful.
It's connected to Astro Boy.
Yes, it's not connect. This is like him doing an Astro Boy storyline.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Astro Boy is in this goddamn thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so just imagine his version of Astro Boy, from everything you've seen from Billy Bat,
That
20th Century Boys, and this.
that sounds really interesting, actually.
I will
Yeah.
link it to you after this. I've read like 5 volumes. It's only 8 volumes. It's not the longest thing in the world, but it's a great manga. I
Eight
highly recommend
volumes? Holy shit.
it. Yeah,
That does seem like a lot though.
that's not a lot. That's nothing in manga terms.
8 volumes, not 8 chapters.
No, not 8 chapters. 8 volumes. So it's a little bit of content.
Alright.
But it's very, very, he's a great writer, and and honestly, art history and heist things would, be something that like I'm not very interested into. I don't really like heist stories. I don't really like, the Ocean's 11 kind of stuff, but or art history. But he still manages to make it interesting. So I'm glad we're reading this manga.
Yeah. Just I don't want to be too much of a downer,
But
but like
well, what do you think? I feel like we're getting a better sense of like what this story is about because originally
yeah.
I had no fucking clue. But now it's kind of like the dots are connecting, and it's like, oh, we're in this international art heist about the Louvre, and
Yeah.
we've got this unreliable guy who's stringing along this poor, desperate father and his daughter who knows better. Now it's starting to kind of like make sense of like what we're seeing because before I had no idea what the hell we were reading. Now I can kind of, the pieces are kind of falling together a little bit.
Yeah, I just feel like I've seen this guy do this before, and he's able to string us along like
Remember, he's also the guy who
for
did
a
Monster.
really really long time, and not like it's kind of like that Lost thing. Lost.
Well, at least for this one, it's less like, Billy Bat had a lot of like cryptic stuff. We got to get the scroll. We got to go to the moon to end the world. There are multiple universes, but they're all destroyed except for this one, and all this like heady stuff. Here, it's like much more simple and grounded level. It's like, ooh, what's this guy saying? It's not like, cryptic bullshit that like, oh, maybe there's some cool supernatural payoff that we'll never get. versus this where it's more or less like, ooh, this is a great mystery. Let's see all the pieces come together. But I see you're like a little. You want it to go somewhere. You want concrete answers.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I just don't want him to fall into the same pattern as like Billy Bat, so to speak.
Where it's just one mystery after another without any concrete resolution or answers. I'd be very interested to see what you think of the end of Billy Bat.
Um,
You want me to tell? You want me to tell you the end that doesn't kind of ruin the end?
I almost feel like I have to like pick up where I left off with Billy Bat.
You probably would, but you want me to tell you at least because the end is like kind of not connected to like all the stuff that came before.
It's not connected to the stuff that came before.
I'm gonna get into
all
it.
right.
So basically, what happens
is
spoiler alert. Like it's like the year like 2020, sometime in the future, all the bad stuff has happened in the world. Like resources are depleted, nations are at war. The world is kind of like a barren wasteland, and like this American soldier and Russian soldier are in this like conflict that we have no idea what's going on for. But then whatchamacallit, one of them steps on a landmine and there's a kid who's starving, and he's starving for food, but you know what he's starving more for? Billy Bat. He just wants to read the last Billy Bat comic. And the entire thing is like about these two guys who are like, these two soldiers who are like, their units are decimated. They're completely alone in this barren wasteland. But then the soldier takes off his shirt and he reveals a Billy Bat shirt. And they unite over their, common differences, over their love of Billy Bat. And they come together, they help each other, they help the kid, they get the kid some water, and they give him that last issue of Billy Bat.
I think I actually remember this. Like, I think I might have read this last.
Did you
last chapter.
last year? Did this last chapter? Because like it's weirdly self-contained, and it's like, on one hand, it's like really pessimistic, but on the other hand, it has this like great like sense of optimism.
Yeah, I thought it was a very optimistic kind of thing. It's like showing that great pieces of art, great pieces of literature
can like transcend races and creeds and help unite us to like and form a common thing of understanding.
Yeah,
and
this is awesome.
Which was a nice thing. The chapter like 2 before that gives you an answer about like what Billy Bat is, although not as good as you'd like. But I did like that ending in terms of like okay, maybe you didn't like explain everything, but this is kind of nice. This feels like a grand thesis point about like how like something seemingly commercial like Mickey Mouse or like Billy Bat can like serve as this like sort of like anchor point that defies cultural lines and understandings. And I liked it how it had this like optimistic message even though it had this like pessimistic setting.
Yeah.
So
nice.
you did see that. Yeah, I definitely recommend going up and checking the rest of it. But so you're a little worried though that the mystery, but like there's no like Billy Bat talking. There's nothing as esoteric in this as Billy Bat.
Yeah, I thought like Billy Bat was like some kind of like God or something like that in this manga, but I guess it didn't really like play out like that in some sense.
Well, here's a question though. You're watching the Monster series on your Rabbit stream, right? The Monster anime, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel that? It's the same work based off, anime based off his manga. Do you feel like that's mystery upon mystery laid out over each other, or do you feel like it's I'd say that's more similar to Mujirishi because there's no supernatural elements.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like mystery on top of mystery so much. Well, there's like a clear objective for the doctor to find the serial killer. He saved whose life he saved, and that there was a little mystery about like who this person was at first, but then until that was unraveled, we now know that he has to chase after him and find him and do whatever he's gonna do to him. I think he's gonna like kill him or try and kill him. But
Probably won't kill him that fast since there's like
there
70
is
episodes.
there does seem to be a lot of filler. I think it feels a little odd, like some of like these in between episodes. I'm wondering if it is actually filler I'm reading.
You'll have to go
Watching.
look it up and see if it does. I feel like that's the kind of thing that wouldn't get filler, but you need to do your homework.
Got like 70 plus episodes.
Well, there was a lot of manga to adapt. There was a lot of freaking chapters of Monster, a lot of volumes of Monster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, probably.
So let's get to the rating, though. We've talked a lot about a lot of myriad different topics. What would you rate this chapter?
It's a 7. It's okay. I thought this is fine challenges. It's piquing my interest a little bit more.
All right, I'll give it a 7.5. I like it that it's like taking form and shape, and that we're getting a little bit more context for all the things that are going on. And it's piquing my interest, even though it's like two things I really normally wouldn't care about, which is like heists and art history.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought you'd be like ecstatic. It's like, oh my god, I love hearing about all these French artists.
I mean, it's not. I'm not super crazy about it. I mean, I'm not like invested in the story as like, let's say, One Piece or Dr. Stone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it's just the very beginning of this series, I think, and right now I just have to give it like an average, okay, semi-positive rating.
Yeah, but I do feel like as third chapters go, it feels like there's more craft in this than like, I don't know, the third chapters of like most other series. Since it's very difficult for like a new manga to like really come out of the gate swinging.
I think it also has to do with like because it's manga, it's more intellectual. It's going to be a little bit more slow rolling and to pique our interest.
It's definitely going to be a slow burn. This is not going to be like balls to the wall action, crazy facial fractures. This is a grown up manga for grown up peoples.
Yeah, if you're grown up, then you'll probably like this manga like maybe 20 chapters in.
Yeah, exactly. This is a grown-up big boy storyline, and this is what you gotta get when you have a grown-up big boy, which means it's slow. Although, yeah, I'm gonna link you Pluto, though. Like, literally, it's his version of Astro Boy, and it has his Astro Boy in it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and Astro Boy doesn't even appear until, like, the second or third volume. And when he does, it's so sad. But, it's good stuff. All right, so 7 from you, 7.5 for me. Go see if they have a Mona Lisa t-shirt at T-Blocks. T-Blocks is the best. Go down there. There's a code. Get 10% off. Maybe they have, like, Rembrandt art that you can have on a t-shirt and sent to you monthly. Vermeer. Rembrandt. All the classical artists. Donatello. Michelangelo. Raphael. And, Leonardo.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. It's a turtle reference.
It's a turtle reference, but it's also an art reference.
Yeah.
Aren't I clever?
So the Vermeer is called the Lace Maker. I think it's a very nice looking painting. Very intricate. Maybe check that out in the Louvre.
Yeah, check it out at the Louvre. Go get. Well, we don't get any money for if they go to the Louvre. So.
Yeah, well, maybe get a Louvre t-shirt.
Get a Louvre t-shirt from T-Blocks. Ask if they have it. They might have it in their t-shirt warehouse. All right, so I think that let us know what your comments are. Are you enjoying, the Bucktooth guy? Do you think he's racist? Do you think he's not racist? Are you enjoying this captivating mystery?
Yeah. We didn't. I guess we pointed out last review, didn't we?
We definitely talked about it. Like, is it racist for him to do this sort of like Japanese stereotype thing? Like, I feel like there's some cultural tradition that we're kind of missing that I'd be interested to see someone who's a little bit more in depth to tell us. But who knows? Maybe one day one of us will get bored and we'll try and find out if the guy gets criticism for having these like kind of like traditionally stereotypical Japanese character, stereotype.
I mean, he doesn't do it that often at all. Like this is like, I mean, from other manga that I've read of his, it just this particular character he just wants to really exaggerate with, I think, and I think maybe he didn't give it a lot of thought, probably, of like how.
No, I think he's a very smart guy. I don't think I think he has a very deliberate reason, but we're just too stupid and not culturally aware enough to like articulate what that reason is. So if any of you are smarter in the comments below, let us know.
Okay.
We like it when you link us stuff. As you can see, every time I always like reference, if you have an especially smart comment, reference it in the video after. All right, so I think that covers everything, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, all right, thank you for hanging around with us. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, give us comments. Mm-hmm. We like comments. And remember, lobsters and tennis, but don't you grab it. Do you like clothes but hate shopping? Then T-Blocks is the subscription service for you. But I know what you're thinking. But Lobster, how is that any different than Loot Crate or the other subscription services? Well, T-Blocks sends you t-shirts, which is clothing, which is actually useful, unlike the useless swag junk that Loot Crate keeps peddling on gullible schmucks. And this isn't just knockoff brand crap. T-Blocks hooks you up with licensed shirts for all the stuff you love, because you need clothes. How else are you going to keep your puny human man flesh protected from the elements? T-shirts are useful for any occasion. Wear them. Give them to friends. Give them to enemies. Knit them together. Make a quilt. T-shirts are life. And you know the best part? It'll only cost you $6.99. That's right, you can get 12 shirts sent to you for once a month for only $6.99. And you know what? If ultra cheap licensed goods are too basic for you, then there's also the Community T-Block set, which features original designs from the best up-and-coming artists, so you can keep that hipster street cred. But I'm here to save you even more money! Use the code LOBSTERTBX at checkout, and you'll save 10% on any order. Be a t-shirt wearing god amongst mortals. Use the power of the most expensive seafood to get you the cheapest t-shirts now!